Welcome, everybody, to downtown Royal Oak for the 26th running of the Oak Apple Run here in downtown Royal Oak. I'm Hugh Scullin, along with Tony Kay, bringing you today's race, and we'll be ready to start in just a moment. They're getting lined up there and just north of us here on Main Street, and ready to go, Tony.
Well, we're not in shorts and T-shirts, are we, today?
No, it's not summer. That's for sure.
It's sort of a cool 50-ish kind of rainy day, although right now the rain has stopped. Although it hasn't diminished the turnout, as you can look at the starting line, you see there's a great number of people ready to run, and the cold really won't affect them. The wind might a little bit slow their times down. It may have affected the spectator turnout. I've always said in many of the years past that a good day for spectators is a bad day for runners. You don't want it 80 degrees and sunny and no wind if you're a runner, but you want that if you're a spectator. The converse is true, of course. If it's 55 and overcast, that's great for runners, but it's bad for the spectators. This may be a day where it's bad for both, because if you get wind and rain, it's not that the runners in 50-degree weather are going to be too cold, but the wetness and the wind blowing is going to sap their energy and affect their times. And, of course, we've been standing here for 20 minutes, and we're not comfortable.
That's right. It's not a real nice day out here, but we'll be getting started in just a moment. As we look behind us, they're getting them lined up and ready to go. You're just ready for this start. We better get down there and look at them and get ready to go. The wind will hold up some of the race, some of the times, I would suspect, because it is pretty windy out there on the street.
So if you're sitting in your nice, comfortable house watching this a couple of weeks after the race, feel sorry for us, but enjoy the show.
All right. We'll get ready as they're getting ready for a start. Getting ready for the start. Let's get, as they're lined up, and get them as they're coming down, and they're just about to start them up.
And look at that. That's quite a big field.
This is the 26th running of the Oak Apple Run. We had the 2-mile fun run earlier. But these are the more serious runners. These are the folks going to come out here and run the whole distance.
Final instructions are going to the runners. Ed Kozloff starting the race. Runners, take your mark. Go. There they go.
And here they come down Main Street.
And, of course, here come the Rabbits, ready to make their first left turn on the 4th Street. They'll go almost a mile in that direction, turn around and come back, and head north across 11 Mile into the neighborhoods of Royal Oak. As we have said in the past, this is a good race for spectators because the runners will actually come by the point that we're standing 4 different times. In many races, you see the start and then you see the finish, and you don't see what's happening in between unless you happen to be riding a vehicle or watching on TV later.
That's right.
But we'll get a chance to see. And as you can see, we talked about the weather and how it impacts the runners. It's about, I'd say, maybe 60-70% of the runners are still in shorts and T-shirts because they will get warm after a quarter of a mile. And it won't affect their the heat loss that much. Although you don't want to stick around in shorts and a T-shirt after you're running, you want to get into something warm right away.
You get those. They got those sweats. They got somebody carrying that sweatsuit for them when they get done this the end of this race, and they'll be ready to get going. The last of the runners have started and headed east on 4th Street.
Yep.
As you see the big crowd going down 4th Street.
I do think there's probably more runners than spectators today because the runner says to the spouse or brother or sister or mother and father, hey, how about coming out and watching me run today? And they look out the window and go, have a good time.
That's right. As they roll over in bed and
have a good
go
time.
back to sleep. That's right.
I'll read about it in the paper tomorrow. Actually, one of the things you may have seen as the runners went by originally is that there was somebody wearing a plastic bag. I first saw this years ago at the Free Press International Marathon, which starts very early in the morning in Canada. And this is an October race, so it's always sort of cool, 30, 35 degrees, 40 degrees sometimes. And a neat trick for runners is to take a big old black garbage bag and put it on upside down, obviously with a hole for your head, and cut the corners out and put your arms through. And because it's plastic, it keeps the heat inside. And then once you get warmed up and on your way, then you can just tear it off.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I saw one of those. I didn't see too many, but you know what? There's a lot of stores and places to hide out before the race to keep warm, unlike the Free Press Marathon, where you're starting in Jackson Park and you're sort of in the middle of nowhere, so there's no place to get warm.
Well, here they go in and have a coffee or something before there's a place you can go and warm up before the race. And after the race, they'll all be over there for some kind of a cold drink, but I'm not sure they want that cold drink on a day like today.
No. Although, it's surprising. Once you get into the race and you're not, you really aren't cold. The wind may bother you, but the wind will bother you also when you're on a warm day, because you're fighting the wind. You're exerting more energy to go into the wind. But once you get going, it's not too bad, and you'll stay warm. And when you go with the wind, actually, there's something that I used to call, and it has no name. It's called the oven effect. And that was when you'd be running at about the same speed that the wind was blowing. And so you can just feel the heat radiating off of you, and you're nice and warm and cozy. And then you turn around, and of course you go into the wind, and the wind chill factor takes effect, and there you go.
Yeah, well, they'll be coming back this way, and they will be facing the wind as they come back, coming back down on 4th Street as they turn around and come back this way. The lead runners will be back pretty quickly, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Won't take them too long to get down there and back.
We look like a couple of slappies out here, don't we? That looks like part of the finish area.
We have that's set up. Looks like the setup up there towards the end of the line, and talking about the groups that operate this race every year. The race was started 26 years ago by Kim Frentz here in Royal Oak, and now today's paper has some stories on what's going on, the history of the winners, and actually I think the Motor City Striders actually organizes the race, don't they, Tony?
Yeah, this is they administer the race for the local thing. Yeah, they're the premier running club in the city of Detroit, and we're looking at the results that go all the way back to 1977. So that was last century or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a long time.
This is known as a flat, fast track. So, in fact, I believe the men's best time ever was something like 30 minutes and 27 seconds. Well, that was back in the 80s. And the women, I'm going to have to look a little bit more and get some information for you. Okay, the mats that you're looking at, in fact, I could tell you a lot about finish lines because I used to work at many of these races. And back in the old days, you actually had a bib, a racing bib is the thing with your number on it.
Right.
And it had a tear off on the bottom. And somebody at the end of the chute had something that looked like a gigantic safety pin. And they would take the tear off, which had a little hole, and slip it on the safety pin, hopefully in the order that you finished, and that's how they kept track of things. Before that, you used to hand out popsicle sticks, numbered popsicle sticks, that you would give to the person at the end of the chute, and they would record your name and the number on your popsicle stick. Now, we did that for many years, and of course, somebody always walked away with a popsicle stick, so you can imagine what it was like after the race to go through 3,000 popsicle sticks to find out that number 1067 was missing, so you had to make a new popsicle stick. Well, in the age of computers and technology now, you have these little transponders, sort of like the speed pass kind of thing that are in cars, and you can put these on your shoes, and it identifies you and your race number and whoever you are. And what those things that we showed a little earlier on the finish line is a pickup for the transponder that's usually tied to the shoe of the runner. So you don't really have to worry anymore. And if you can imagine, in a bigger race like this, you get a few finishers at the start, and then you get the bubble, a bell-shaped curve where most of the runners finish. And I've been in races where literally when you get in the middle of the bubble, when people are finishing, from 6 minutes to 9 minutes per mile average, the line literally backs up across the finish line, and there's nothing more frustrating to go out and run a 10-mile or a 10K race or something like that and get to the finish line and be 20 feet away, and now you're in a line like I-75 during rush hour.
Right.
So what happens now is you really don't have to worry about keeping the runners in line or keeping them in line after they finish in the chutes or anything like that, because computers take care of everything on how people finish now, which is sort of pretty cool. So those lines are just, those mats are just to pick up the number and the information about the runner as they cross the finish line.
Well, it works pretty good. We've gotten very sophisticated in the system as it's gone on over the years. And looking down the street, I see lights coming back this way. It looks like they're headed back already and coming back up 4th Street.
Yeah. It always used to be a big deal, too, about how calibrating the finish to the age grouping and this, that, and the next. And, of course, if it's been put in the computer beforehand, then you push a button and it says, well, you came in 5th in your age group or you're 2nd overall, and it's all done automatically. It's almost no fun anymore.
It's not a challenge anymore.
Yeah.
Huh? Here they come, as you can see coming up. As 4th Street splits down the street, you can see the lead runners coming back, and we don't have any numbers on the runners, so we won't know who these runners are as they come up, but we will see them. You see them, the leaders, and looks like about 4 of them out in front of the pack, leading as they come back up 4th Street, west on 4th Street, and they all go north on Main. Again, back past the start line again, and they'll head up Main and go over 2nd Street and then up Washington. As we'll see them as they come up. Here come the lead runners. As we see them.
What's that?
And there are our cameraman out there in front of the lead runners, David Kupchak. There goes the lead runner. I didn't catch that number as he came across. And here come a couple of more. There's 3 of them right behind. No number on that runner.
The famous Bandit. Maybe he got here just too late to register.
Yeah, he's not. So they're the first 4 runners and here come more of the lead of the pack coming in. 4 of them running together. Those are I believe those uniforms are the Hanson. Some of those folks have been out in running here in the past, and I believe one of that group won the race last year.
What you're looking at are the elite runners, and on a day like this, it is a little cold to be an elite runner. You really do want to maybe tuck in behind somebody and exchange turns, sort of like bike riding, where one person will go first, and you can hear the wind blowing in my microphone. So,
yeah,
although right now these runners are running with the wind, so it's not too bad. But sometimes you want to tuck in behind a little runner. Rather the runner in front of you, so that they'll break the wind a little bit and give you a chance to relax, and then you put on a little surge and get in front of them. But lonely is okay when you're first, all right, because it doesn't matter. You're pumped up, you got your energy cycle going, and as you look as these runners make the right-hand turn onto Main Street, in years past, or I should say on sunny days, Hugh, you always say, well, where's the sun? Where are the trees? Because you always duck into the shade. It's not a problem today.
Well, I just saw my friend Mike Burkett run by, and this is an easy race for him. He competes in Ironman. So,
oh yeah.
So this is short for him.
Probably just a Monday morning training run for him.
That's right. That's just. Let's see. Andy's over here. He's going to talk to one of the folks that was in our earlier fun run.
I think he's going to talk to two folks that were in the.
And I think one of them happens to be City Commissioner Eileen Lamphere. Let's shove it over to Andy.
Well, that's right, Hugh. This is Eileen Lamphere, Royal Oak City Commissioner, and her daughter, Maureen Lobdell, with little Katie. And Katie is how old, Maureen?
Katie will be 8 weeks on Tuesday.
And Katie made the fun run with you, right?
Yep.
Both of you.
Yep, we sure did. We walked the whole way she was with, so she came across, and this will be her first race, and hopefully she'll be doing it when she's 90. That's our plan.
When she's 90. Now, she didn't actually run this time, though. Okay, good. And Eileen, what do you think of all this generational running for our lives? What's happening?
Oh, I think it's wonderful. I think that's why we're all so close and why we're all in good shape. So we had 20 of the Lamphere family here today, all participating in the run, so it was great.
8 grandkids. All the little kids ran. Our 2-year-old niece walked the whole way. So she did great.
That is amazing. Well, I guess we'll probably see you out here next year. Hopefully the weather will be a little bit better, and Katie will be... you'll be dragging her along behind you next time, okay? All right.
Pray for warm weather next year.
That's right. We'll send it back to Hugh and Tony.
Thank you, Andy.
So the plan is for Katie to be here in 2093. Is that right?
That's right. I guess
okay.
She'll be out there.
Mark it on your calendar.
That's right.
Well, as you can see, we are now getting into the bubble. People who are actually from planet Earth and run at reasonable speeds. Not the turtles yet, though. The turtles will be coming later. The hares already went by. The tortoises are coming later. These are the normal people.
This is the bulk of the field here.
This is the top of the bell-shaped curve. This is maybe. Well, they haven't set the clock yet, but these probably are averaging maybe 7, 8, 9-minute miles. And they don't look too uncomfortable. I mean, I'm talking about weather-wise. Little spitting rain that we're getting right now is certainly not a detriment. If it was a downpour, that just not only makes everything wet, but it also dampens your spirits too, and you think... and since they're only at the about the 2-mile mark, they have yet to approach. I'm talking about the runners now. They have yet to approach the what the hell did I get up and do this for? Okay. That usually comes between 4 and 5. And in this race, especially as you come back on Main Street, you look to your right, some 30 feet away is the finish line, and you have a mile and a half to go. That's when you go, what in the world? What am I doing here?
That's
I don't
right.
really feel all that wonderful, and it's cold and it's wet, or it's sunny and it's hot, or supply your own adjectives. But actually everybody here looks like they're in pretty good spirits, doing well. And as you can see, again, from what I said, the vast majority of the runners are in shorts and T-shirts, some long, some short, but certainly not dressed like it's winter.
No, they're looking pretty good at the moment. They hanging in there pretty well, and we're
about 15 or 16 minutes into the race. They haven't set the finish time clock yet. I will be able to give you some average per minute mile paces once they do that. But we're about 16 minutes into the race, and they are approximately, as they turn the corner here on Main Street, about a block north is a 2-mile sign. Next time we pan up the street, sort of take a look to the right-hand side of the street, about a block from 4th, and you'll see a 2-mile sign. So if they're going by here in, say, 16 or 17 minutes, you're talking about 8-minute, 9-minute pace, 8.5 per mile pace, which is, that's the average person right there. except for the announcers.
Now they're talking out here. Now as the race committee changes the
Pylons.
pylons along the to
I knew you
move
knew that.
everything.
I knew you knew that
I know.
word.
I was trying to think of the word, losing it there.
Actually, what they're doing is they're going from, let's say, call it 2-mile mode to finish line mode. In other words, most of the runners, all of the runners we've seen to this point come to the intersection where we're at, and they're making a right-hand turn and heading up Main Street. But they're also now readjusting the pylons because the next time the runners come past this point, they'll be turning left again, and then we will see them coming to the west and heading for the finish line.
They're heading up here now. As they go up here, they go up Main Street now to 2nd Street and then north on Washington up to Austin. They jog over to Upton to Pleasant and all the way up to Catalpa, and then back through Maxwell to Farnham, to West Street, to Park, back to Washington, and then back to 2nd Street, and they'll be coming by us again.
Now, if you live on one of those streets, don't look out your window because this is tape delayed.
That's right. They're not running by you now, but you probably did see them.
Well, I just see it. If you look here, you see a guy going by, and he looks like he's got his hiking shoes on, and that's a little unusual. Most of the people you see have running shoes, and I hesitate to call them tennis shoes. Back in the 70s, essentially when you started running, you just had a pair of gym shoes, and probably anybody who's been to the store now, they see cross trainers and handball shoes and tennis shoes. And,
I never understand any of that myself.
Essentially, and some of these shoes can be pretty expensive. I mean,
right.
They can go anywhere from $50 to $150. But what you're looking at, in fact, you take a look at a runner, what is he doing? Okay, he's not cutting like a basketball court or not making any kind of deep moves. Essentially, what a running shoe is built for is to give you protection for the up and down movement, to cushion your spine and your body from the impact on the ground. That's not to say that running shoes are going to fall apart if you move sideways, but they're not built for like what a basketball shoe would be, right, where the guy has to plant a foot and move sideways, forward, backwards, or a lady, since the Shock are starting their season very soon. Right. But so you get this impact. Sometimes some of them have gel underneath the heels. Some of them have air cushions, etc., kind of stuff. But what they're essentially built for is the technology has improved to give you the kind of protection you need for the up and down movement. The good runners, the real fast ones, are probably running on the balls of their feet. They're up there doing what you and I would consider a sprint, although for them that's an aerobic activity, and I can explain an aerobic activity for our listeners. What that means essentially is, if you remember as a kid, you used to go out and you'd run as fast as you can, then you'd stop and you'd be out of breath, okay? That's anaerobic. You're exercising faster than you can replace the oxygen. So how can someone go out and run 6 miles and not have to stop and catch their breath? Well, they're in condition to the point where they are intaking oxygen at the same time that they're expending it. Now, there are different levels of aerobic conditioning. By that, I mean the lead runners are going out there at 5-minute miles. They're replacing the oxygen at the same pace that they're running. Oh, you and I could not do that. In fact, most of the runners in the race could not do that. But everybody here is sort of just jogging along. And so the average runners, to get back to the shoe argument, are going heel to toe on their thing, and that's what most running shoes are built for. Racing flats, which you'll see our lead runners, literally pick them up. They're light as a feather, and they really don't have the kind of protection that some of the other shoes would have, but because they're on their toes, or on the balls of their feet all the time.
Well, we got Andy. Andy Aubrey's got somebody to talk to over there. Andy?
That's right, Hugh. I've got city manager by day, Oak Apple Run associate by Saturday morning, Larry Doyle here. And Larry, What's your observation so far this morning here?
Well, you know, in spite of the weather, it's incredible to see the number of people who come out here to participate in this race, and I think it says a lot for the serious runners how much they hold this run in such high esteem, as well as just the 2-mile fun run. So it's always an exciting day in the city of Royal Oak.
Right. And you tell me you're going to be a sign holder later.
I am going to be a sign holder later. One of my jobs is, in addition to helping set up, is to direct the men to the proper chute at the end of the race.
Okay. What do you say you and I get out here next year?
Let's think about it.
You get back to me on that. We're comfortable right where we are, I think. But, yeah, it's not too bad. The rain's holding off for now. And, well, I'm sure this committee appreciates your help, and we'll see you out here again.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Have a
Larry.
great day.
Yep, back to you guys.
Thank you, Andy and Larry. As we're seeing, the lead runners are starting back down here. They've made that loop up around Catalpa, up around Dondero High School, and now they're coming back south again, heading back south on Main Street, and they're going to go back east on 4th Street as the lead runners are just about to come through here. And I don't.
This is the about the 4.5 mile mark for the lead runners, and
It's the same lead runner that we saw as they came by the first time.
And he's
7191 is his number. We get a name on him, but we don't have the list of the names. And here comes the same pack of 4, one out in front and the 3 right behind. Same 4 in place as were in place, I believe, when they came by the first time.
I have a prediction, which of course could be right or wrong. I don't know. But as I looked at our lead runner go by, he looked to me like he was just losing form a little. Not running within himself. Mouth open a little bit, getting some air. I see 3 runners that had closed the gap on him a little. I think we might have a race here by the time we get done. But these are the rabbits, of course, and so as you say, the lead runners are coming around right now. You know, sometimes people have asked me, so what do you do on the morning of a race? And you obviously are not going to go out and have a huge breakfast, all right? You don't want to, although it sounds really good, steak and eggs right now to me, but you probably don't eat very much at all. You might have a little cereal or a little juice. Your concern, especially in a morning race that starts at 9 o'clock so much, I mean, you're not going to starve to death if you skip breakfast, but what you really want to do is hydrate. And that's, even on a cool day like this, you're going to be sweating and losing a lot of water, so it's important that you get up, maybe have the liquid of your choice, either water or some orange juice or something, and even keep drinking while you're prior to the race time. So you really don't eat much. The night before, I mean, you've heard the old thing about carbo loading, the kinds of energies that turn in, the kinds of foods rather that turn into energy better are the pastas as opposed to the heavy kind of meat food. So you might have pasta or something like that prior to race day. However, this is something that becomes more relevant for the longer races. A 10K like this, a lot of these people will actually run 10K or 6 miles or 5 miles as their training run. So this is essentially just sort of an average run for them.
We just saw the first of the lady runners cross past us here at about 25 minutes and 30 seconds. The clock is on now as they head east on 4th Street. So the first of the lady runners is just down there, just passing the Royal Oak Brewery down there. And
I actually see, if I look down to the east, I see a police car actually coming back up 4th Street. So it's possible we may be getting to crunch time here.
they've already turned. That'd be amazing if they'd gone that fast.
You see it though, don't you?
Yeah, I do see it. I
Yeah.
do see the flashing light coming. Apparently they
little bit of a sprint there at the end.
Have you all seen those cartoons where people are running down a hallway and the hallway keeps getting longer and longer and longer?
That's how it feels.
Okay, after you make the turn and you're coming back west on 4th Street and you see that finish line way down there and it's slightly uphill. Today, I think we have an east wind, so you may not be running into the wind, but oftentimes you're running into the wind. And your calves hurt, and your Achilles hurt, and you're hungry, and you say, gosh, that thing just seems to get further and further away.
This, if that is somebody coming up with that police car we see there, that's a pretty good time.
Yeah, we will check again the times. As I said, okay. We've been told by some of our observers on the course that these might be, that's the tail end Charlie truck, as it were. It's a police car that is ensuring the safety of the last participants in the race. And some people, it looks like they've decided to walk, which is not uncommon. So
yeah, that's the end. I thought that would be awful quick time if they had turned and were coming back already. So that is the last of the pack going.
So let me change this. If you're watching this tape delay, look out your window, maybe you will see these people out there.
Right. You could see them.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
We don't give them times like 26 minutes or 32 minutes. We give them days of the week: Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Well, I'll tell you what. I give them credit for being out there, even though it's they're walking, but it's a tough day to be out there. And
I think you should have walkers in a 2-mile race. I'm not sure you should have walkers in a 10K race.
Well, these are walkers. As you see this group here, we started with the.
But good for them. What the heck?
We're starting with the, as you referred to, the bubble, the bulk of the people. There goes one of the guys throwing off a shirt and he's getting warm.
Yeah, that's the first runner's shorts, no pants, no top I've seen.
Yeah, he's.
It was a guy, by the way.
It was, yeah, that's right.
That's
right.
This is not an X-rated race.
But this is the bulk of the runners coming in. They're still
just getting started now. Just getting started. These at 4.5 miles, 29 minutes, which we just passed, 29 flat. It's still a pretty good pace. Slightly better than average. When you see them bumping into one another, making the turn, that's when you know you're in the middle of the bubble.
They're moving along pretty good, and
yeah.
The bubble is there's the pretty good bulk of this group here. As we do see the end of the first group, the people that are walking at the end of the pack.
Is it getting brighter, or was it just me? Did it get bright? I think it's just me. No, it doesn't mean I'm getting smarter. I meant it was getting brighter outside.
He meant the sun was coming.
Yeah.
That's right. We're talking about.
You got a real comedian in the truck here, folks.
That's right. Getting checking on the times and see where we are. We're at 29. Well, we're at 30 minutes. So I don't think we're going to have any record-setting times because we do not see lead runners coming back yet. So we got 30 minutes, just past 30 minutes as the last of the there go the last of the brave souls that are out here finishing. Come out and they'll be out there for a while yet.
It's not a PR kind of day. By that I mean personal record is what PR means, and you don't necessarily have to win the race, but if you run it faster than you've ever ran that distance before, it's the equivalent to winning. But it's just not a PR day. We've got I think probably about a 15-mile-an-hour wind out of the northwest. So these runners coming back up 4th Street towards the finish line will be getting the wind in their face out of their right front quarter. So it will also impact the final kick a little bit too.
Yeah, and we're over 31 minutes, so we're not in as I said, not in a situation of setting any records at the moment.
No, as a matter of fact, our best time I have from my from my history of the Oak Apple Run is 30-21 by Bill Wiedenbach back in 1983. So I don't think we're going to be anywhere close to that, assuming that clock is correct.
Here we come with the leaders are now heading up the street. We can see them coming up 4th Street on the south of the median on 4th, and the lead runners are now starting to come up 4th Street.
Now, I made a prediction, didn't I? I said the guy that was in the lead looked like he was coming apart a little bit. I don't mean that in a nasty way. I mean, he just was losing form a little bit.
He's not in the lead right now.
He's not in the lead right now.
I can see down there that he is not in the lead, and one of those 3 that was behind him is now in the lead. And it's one of those guys with one of those Hanson shirts on, I believe.
Boy, you don't pay me big money to announce these races for nothing, do you?
That's right. That was a good analysis there. Expert analysis from Tony Kay. And there goes Larry Doyle with his sign to tell these folks which chute to go into as we're coming up.
And before all of you call WROK and apply for this job, because you could probably do it better than we can, this is volunteer. We don't get paid anything.
Right.
So.
As we see the runners coming up the street, and see if we get the number of this runner as he comes up on the street. He turns around. The lead runner turns around and looks back to the second runner looks like the runner who was in the lead the first 2 times they were by here.
And take a look. He's a little pumping a little bit with the arms. I think he's going to actually end up 3rd. I think he's going to be caught by the guy behind him. Maybe not, but he just was just a little out of form, just not comfortable running within himself.
But these are the same 4 runners that led the first time by. They led first time by this spot, and here come the finalists running right through now. It's runner number 7336, who was 2nd or 3rd when they came by the last time, but he's going to take it, and he's going to finish in about 33 minutes, 33 seconds. Second is the runner who led the first time by, and the first 3 runners are in under 34 minutes, and as we're headed down.
Well, the time you said was 33:33.
That's pretty close to what it was.
Yeah, and I'm going to take a look at my handy-dandy race matrix and tell you that, you know what?
How many and here comes the 4th runner, and this was the fourth runner who was among that group. He was the one that we saw go by here in 2nd place the first time around without a number on. But that's the first 4 are the same 4 that led all the way through the race.
33:33 is about 5 minutes and 35 seconds a mile. So it's under 6 minutes. Certainly not a record pace, but definitely definitely respectable, especially given the conditions today. Now, here's the real depressing part for all you armchair quarterbacks, all you TV aficionados. Probably the lead runner will get a drink of water and relax a little bit, and then go out and maybe jog for a mile or 2 today to warm down, as it were.
I just noticed that the runner that finished 4th, the one that finished in the blue shirt without a number on, turned around and after he finished, headed back east on 4th Street. So he's going to run a couple more miles. He's
the warm down is not at the pace that they originally go, believe it or not. I mean, that's not a surprise, but it's just sort of for them a jog to make sure the muscles don't tighten up. Something that's in a cool day like this, you really don't want to stand around, because you will tighten up, cramp up, and you really should get some dry clothes on too, because a cotton t-shirt is fine, but it doesn't insulate like wool. It literally takes the heat away from your body, and so you can get really cold really fast unless you get some warm, dry clothes on.
I just saw one runner going east on 4th Street who was a blind runner with a guide. They provide guides for a blind runner. They go and they had noticed that a number on there, and that's great that they can get somebody out there and have somebody go with a blind person who wants to run.
Having no sight I don't think is a handicap anymore. It's a state of being.
That's right.
this is the mountain climbing season at Everest, and I was watching a television show about this blind fellow who went up to the top of Everest, and he did say he did not go up there for the view. Those are his own words.
Yeah, right.
He said he went up there for the accomplishment.
Well, that's great. That's great to see them out here today. And here I noticed the last runner came through and really did a sprint at the end. And
too much in the tank. You want to use it up.
Number 8090 was the last one coming through there. And we're coming along with...
Unfortunately, this year,
There's the
this
first
looks
of our
like our
ladies.
first lady, 8007.
8007 is our lead lady in the race, 8007. And she's way out in front. She was out in front when they came by. She was the first lady that passed us here the first time around, and she held that lead the whole way. There she is, number 8007. And maybe we'll get a chance, if Andy can get a chance to talk to the winners. But she was out there way out in front of all the other ladies, and she held that lead all the way through. Great race for her.
She did about 6-minute and 11-second miles. 6-minute average, 6 minutes and 11 seconds. We do not have this year, unfortunately, the roster of names and numbers, so we can't give you names, but we'll certainly hope to get these people on the air so you can talk to and see a face and a name to go with the winner. But
I know Andy's going to try and see if he can get a hold of those winners. And here comes some more of the runners finishing.
Now, unlike golf, you see there's a lot of guys behind that lead woman.
That's right. That's right. No question.
In fact, most of the men in this race will finish behind the lady who won the race.
Oh, absolutely. 90% of the men in this race. Well,
exactly.
She was doing very well. Here comes another, probably a second of the lady runners, number 7960.
Now this is almost a gender equal sport because in some ways ladies are better equipped to run. It all gets into a pound per inch kind of deal. I don't really know what it is for women, but I do know that an ideal runner's physique for men would be 2 pounds per inch. So let's say you're 6 foot tall, which would be 72 inches, I think, right?
Right.
And double that, and so 144, and that's pretty thin.
That would be pretty thin.
Those are the
You're
ones
right.
that are floating along on the balls of their feet, and I think we have an interview coming up from Andy. I see him chasing, frustratingly chasing one of the contestants. We'll keep an eye on him.
See if he can get that. Andy's got both of the winners here, and he's going to come down here and get it.
Yeah, bring him in here. Bring him in here, and we'll talk to him.
He's going to bring them in. We're going to get the winners in here. Both great races.
Okay, we definitely, as I told you, we didn't have a name, so we want to find out who they are, where they're from, how old they are, how much they train, single, married, children. No, not necessarily all that stuff. But go ahead, Andy. Let's get the particulars about it.
Guys, I'm gonna introduce them to you, and then I'm gonna let you ask any questions. Our first place female will be April Lickety from Birmingham, and first place male Brett Sanborn, Rochester Hills. Brett, April, I'm going to turn this over to these two gentlemen. This man here is a professional, by the way, and we'll find out, what the conditions were like and how you feel. Okay, I'm going to move on in.
Well, that's a good starting question. Is what were the conditions like out there?
They were actually good for racing. Probably wasn't that good for watching, but it was a little windy, but it wasn't that bad. So temperature-wise, it was fine for racing.
How about the wind? A little windy or no?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah.
Not too bad. It's better than last year when it was hot and humid.
Yeah.
Was it slippery at all?
No, it wasn't slippery. Didn't have any problem with that. The wind was probably the biggest factor, but temperature-wise, it was perfect.
Before the race, we tend to say a good race for spectators is a bad race for runners, and vice versa, because 80 degrees and sunny with no wind is great if you're standing on the sidewalk, but not really good if you're going out.
Especially this time of year when you're not used to that weather.
Now,
exactly.
If you'd like, you can tell us how old you are, because we'd like to find out how old the winners are.
36.
Okay.
I'm 30.
Oh, that's great. And how much do you train?
I usually do about 40 to 45 miles a week.
And so is a 10K or a 6-mile run, is that like a training run for you? So
It depends on the run. Some of them you gear up for and try to run faster. Some of them you train through, and so probably the same for you.
In April?
It was a good workout.
Yeah.
Today.
Now, how much do you run a week?
I run usually 30 to 35 miles a week.
So if you want to win this race, you got to put your time in, right?
Mm-hmm. That's pretty true with any race.
Yeah, yeah. So I was going to ask you another question. I hate to say this, I predicted when I saw the lead runner go by here at the very end, he looked like he was out of form a little bit, arms coming out a little bit, hurting a little bit. So it described the end, like the surge you made or what happened when you overtook him.
I had no dreams of winning this race until I got around this corner here and started going in out of downtown, and I saw the leader up there.
Yeah.
I noticed he was coming back, and I was really surprised.
Starting to labor
I
a
run
little
the 2
bit.
mile. I was just kind of out there doing a workout for the 10K, and they started coming back, and I said, well, what the heck, I've come this far, I might as well see if I can catch him, and I really wasn't intending that at all.
Okay, let's...
I won the 2 mile.
He won the 2 mile as well.
Okay,
I was very surprised.
He ran the 2 mile, then he was running the 10K just sort of as a workout, which he also proceeded to run. Okay, a win rather.
Believe me, no one's more surprised than I am right now.
And how about yourself?
You know, I haven't raced in a while, so going into this, I just kind of wanted to see where I was at in my training.
For a woman racer, it's a little harder because unless you're running a New York Marathon where they sometimes start the women by themselves, you're sort of in the middle of the pack and you don't have... Did you know where the second place lady was, or did you essentially say, I think I'm first and let's go?
You know, we started out together, and
Adios.
I wasn't really, not really, wasn't really sure where she was, but you know what, today was it was a race to come out and have fun in.
Do you pick a man runner to stay with? Do you say, I want to keep pace with this guy kind of thing?
You know what, you try to do that. You try to kind of run after people ahead of you and kind of pull them in. But it helps. You're used to, as a female, having men run with you, and they definitely help you out during the race.
Well, we're going to let these runners go because I'm looking at April, and she's wrapping herself up, and she's looking like she's getting a little cold. You need to get some warm clothes on because it is about 55 degrees, and the wind is blowing and it's raining. Yeah. Congratulations, guys, and I think Hugh's going to wrap this up here.
Thanks for coming, and we enjoyed having you today. And
It was a really great race. The spectators were wonderful.
Yeah. Oh, there were
About
spectators?
There
were.
Both of them? No. No. It's down a little, but actually, if you look around, you see a lot of people, which is sort of cool.
Twice. You hear it. It really helps. It makes a big difference.
Okay, there you go.
Well,
congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Show them your trophies again. There you go.
Okay.
All right, Hugh.
Well, thank you, Tony, and thank you, our winners there. They did a great job on a cold day, and they do have to get warmed up a little bit and get warmed up and get going for get warmed up as April had you could tell she was a little chilly there. We're gonna wrap this up, I believe, and get ready to. Are we gonna continue to watch any of them as they come by? That's the winners, Brett Sanborn and April Lickety, I think that's their name, and they did a great job and fought through the battle of the wind and the cold today.
Yeah, and let's give kudos to all the camera crew and our interview people because they have been out here since really early, and it is a bit uncomfortable, especially if you're standing around. I'm happy to work for WROK, the Oak Apple, and I guess this is the 26th annual, and I think it may be my 12th or 13th or 14th, and so thanks for having me.
Just my second. We do miss Larry.
Yep.
And we're glad to bring this to you, and thank you for tuning in to watch the Oak Apple Run. This is Hugh Scullin, along with Tony Kay and Andy Aubrey. Thanks for tuning in.
Enjoy your summer.
Bye now.